From Tigers Stadium in Detroit, Michigan, it's the 1968 World Series replay between the visiting St. Louis Cardinals and the Detroit Tigers. Cardinals lead this series 2-1. Today in Game 4, we will see the starters who actually started that day. Bob Gibson on the mound for St. Louis, and he will face Denny McLain for Detroit. Gibson beat Denny McLain in the replay series, Game 1, and will face him again now in Game 4. Game 4 was played on October the 6th, 1968, in front of 53,634 fans. So, this is my second attempt at a live broadcast, so bear with me this evening, if you will. If I don't see your chat, I apologize. I'm still getting accustomed to this setup and do not have all my ducks in a row yet. So I hope that you enjoy this nonetheless, and please do not take offense if I do not recognize you on the chat, but I'm still, again, learning how to do this. So, here are the starting lineups for your St. Louis Cardinals. Lou Brock will lead off and play left field. Curt Flood bats second and plays center. Roger Maris hits third and plays right. Orlando Cepeda will bat cleanup and play first. Tim McCarver will be the catcher, hitting fifth. Mike Shannon will be at third base, hitting sixth. Julian Javier will be at second base, batting seventh. Dow Maxfield will be the shortstop and hit eighth. And Bob Gibson will be on the mound. For Detroit, Dick McAuliffe will be at second. Mickey Stanley at short. Al Kaline in right field. Norm Cash at first. Willie Horton will be in left. Jim Northrup will be in center field. Eddie Matthews will play third. Bill Freehan will catch. And Denny McLain will be on the mound. So let's go ahead and get this game started. And we're underway. The umpires that day were, behind the plate, Bill Kinnaman. Doug Harvey was at first. Bill Haller at second. Tom Gorman at third. Jim Honachek was the left field umpire, and Stan Landis was the right field umpire that day. So here's Lou Brock. Brock is hitting .500 in the series. He bats from the left side against Denny McLain. And we're underway from Tiger Stadium in Detroit. The temperature's 57 degrees. Cardinals lead the series 2-1. Denny won 31 games that year for Detroit. Brock hits a ground ball to McAuliffe. McAuliffe up with it with a quick throw over to first, and he is out, one away. Here's Flood hitting .357 in the series. Pitch. Swing and a miss. McLain with his first strikeout of the game with 2 outs. And here's Roger Maris batting only .111. From the left side, Maris. One ball pitch to Maris, and a diving play by Jim Northrup on a sinking line drive by Roger Maris, and that will retire to the side. The Cardinals go down, and here come the Tigers with McAuliffe to lead off. McAuliffe hitting .273, left-handed batter. Pitch by Gibson. He walks him. So the Tigers have a leadoff man on with Mickey Stanley up, only hitting .091 in the series. McAuliffe at first with pretty good speed. Here's Stanley. Gibson has walked his second batter in a row, so the Cardinals are in a little bit of trouble, as is Gibson. The Tigers have their first 2 men on, and here's Al Kaline. .545 average in this series for Kaline. 2 men on, nobody out. Here's Kaline. Winding the pitch, a ground ball down to Cepeda. Over to Max Bill, back over to Cepeda. And that is a 3-6-3 double play with McAuliffe moving to third. And now 2 outs for Norm Cash. Cash hitting .231. Left-handed hitter. Gibson walks him. That's another walk in this game for Gibson. That's his 3rd walk in the inning. And here's Willie Horton with a chance for the Tigers to score a run here and get on the board. Horton only hitting .091. Here's Horton with the pitch. And that's another walk for Gibson. 4 walks in the game for Bob Gibson. And so Northrop has the bases loaded with 2 outs. He is hitting .077. So he is way overdue. Here's Northrop. Left side, pitch, fly ball, right field. Maris is under it and makes the catch. The Cardinals getting a little trouble. Tigers leave 3 men on, and we go to the top of the 2nd. No score. Cepeda to lead off, followed by McCarver and then Mike Shannon. Here's Orlando Cepeda hitting .250 in the series. McLean looks in, pitch, fly ball right. Kaline under it, 1 out. Here's McCarver. Tim's hitting .231. Left-handed batter. McLean fires. Little number ground ball back to the pitcher. McLean picks it up, throws it over to Norm Cash, and it's 2 away. And here's Mike Shannon, .417 average for the third baseman, Shannon. Winding the pitch. That ball's hit the center. Shortstop. Lost that one. That's Mickey Stanley, and it's a pop-up. 3 away. So that's the bottom of the 2nd now we go to. And here's Eddie Matthews to lead it off for the Tigers, followed by Freehan and then McLean. Eddie Matthews, no average in this series. Fly ball, deep left field. That ball is out of here. Eddie Matthews, former Milwaukee Brave, has just put the Detroit Tigers ahead 1-0 on an opposite field home run. Here's Freehan, .364 batting average for Bill Freehan. Winding the pitch, he gets a walk, and that is Gibson's 5th walk of the game. McLean up, will probably bunt here. He does. Gibson fields over Cepeda. Freehan down to 2nd. And it's 1 out. McAuliffe with a chance to drive in a run here. He walked in the 1st inning. McAuliffe swings and misses. And that's Gibson's 1st strikeout of the game. Here's Mickey Stanley. 2 outs. Runner at 2nd. Stanley. Pitch. That's a little bitty pop-up. And Gibson catches it right outside the back of the mound for the 3rd out. But Detroit goes ahead on the Eddie Matthews home run, and it's now 1-0 Tigers. Here's Julian Javier. Javier hitting .273 in the series. McLean pitches. 0-1 pitch. Ground ball down to the right side. Cash picks it up. McLean covering. 1 out. Here's Maxwell. Dow hitting .154. McLean pitch, swing. Down to Matthews. Matthews up with it. Over to Cash. 2 away. And here's Bob Gibson. Gibson. Swing. Looks at a call 3rd strike. And McLean retires the side. So, we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Detroit up 1-0. Here's Al Kaline. 0 for 1 in this game. Now hitting .500. From the right side of the plate. Gibson fires, swing and a miss. Gibson may have found his groove. That's his 2nd strikeout. Here's Norm Cash. .231. He walked his 1st time up. Cash out to right field, but Maris drifts over and catches it for 2 outs. And here's Willie Horton. .091. He had a walk in that 1st inning also. Here's Horton, the line and the pitch. Fly ball. Deep right. Maris back. He watches it go into the stand, and Willie Horton has just hit an opposite field home run to right field. And now Detroit leads it 2-0. Northrop up 0 for 1 in this game. Pitch by Gibson. That ball is going to drop right in front of Curt Flood for a base hit. Northrop is now on first, and here's Eddie Matthews, 1-for-1 with a homer. Back in the second. Matthews up. That ball is going to rip over the head of Mike Shannon into left field. Brock up with it. And Northrop makes it to third on that single by Eddie Matthews, advancing. So we have first and third now with 2 outs with a chance for Freehan to get a little bit more insurance here for the Tigers. And Gibson with his 6th walk of the game to load the bases for Denny McLain. McLain up with the bases loaded. He swings and misses strike 3, and that retires the side. The Tigers will leave 3 men on, but they go up 2-0 on the Horton home run. And we go to the top of the 4th. With the top of the order up, Lou Brock up 0-for-1 in this game. Winding the pitch by McLain. That ball is going to get up the middle. Base hit. That's the first hit of the game for St. Louis. And Brock, a dangerous base runner on first, is up with Curt Flood up next. Flood 0-for-1. Winding the pitch. Ground ball. Stanley over to McAuliffe. No throw. Fielder's choice. 6-4. And Flood's going to make it safely to first. And here's Roger Maris. Maris hitting an even 100 now. 0-for-1 in this game. Flood steals second. And so Maris has a runner in scoring position now with 1 man out. McLain looking in. 2 balls, 1 strike. Fly ball left. Oh, that ball gets over the head. That's a double. I think that is a ground rule double, ladies and gentlemen. I lost that a little bit momentarily. I beg your pardon. The ball got, the animation looks like the ball is at the wall, and I did not see anything happen. So I'm assuming that's a ground rule double, and but I'm not sure. I wasn't watching the replay screen, so I apologize for that. But the Cardinals get their first run of the game on the Maris double. So now it's a 2-1 game with Cepeda up. Maris down at second with only 1 man out. Here's Cepeda, ripped to right. K-line back. He goes back and catches it. Gets the ball back in. Maris stays put at second base. So here's a chance for McCarver to tie the game up with a runner in scoring position and 2 men out here in the 4th inning. Detroit leads at 2-1. McCarver swings down to McAuliffe. McAuliffe picks it up over to Cash, and that retires the side. The Cardinals leave a man on, but get a run on the board on 2 hits, and now they are behind 2-1. So here's the top of the order for Detroit. Dick McAuliffe up. McAuliffe 0-for-1 with a walk. Wine and the pitch by Gibson. Swing and a miss. Gibson has now thrown 74 pitches. That's his 4th strikeout in the game, and we're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Here's Stanley. Stanley 0-for-1 with a walk today. Here's a wind in the pitch. Ground ball. Gibson over for it. Ticipata, 2 men out. And that brings up Al Kaline. 0-for-2 in this game with a strikeout. Wind in the pitch. Kaline. That ball is going to get in front of Maris. A little hit to right field. And so Kaline has his first hit of the day. And here comes Norm Cash, 0-for-1 with a walk today. He's now hitting .214 in the series. K-line at first, 2 outs. Cash up. Fly ball. Oh, Northrop is on his horse, but he's going to get to that ball. And he makes the play. I'm sorry. Flood makes the play. Got that mixed up. I beg your pardon. Flood makes the play. And that's 3 up and through. And that's the 3rd out of the inning. So now St. Louis comes up in the top of the 5th with Shannon, to be followed by Javier and Maxville. Here's Mike Shannon, 0-for-1, hitting .385 now in the series. Liner down the third baseline, gets under the glove of Matthews, rolls to the wall. Horton up with it, fires the ball back in. And Shannon comes into second with a double. So now here's Julian Javier with a runner in scoring position and a chance for the Cardinals to tie it here. McLain up. He's thrown only 40 pitches in this game, but he just gave up his 3rd hit. So here's Javier. Wind in the pitch, ground ball to Stanley. looks the runner back, over to Cash, one man out. So here's Maxville, 0 for 1. Maxville, swing, base hit up over the middle. Stanley couldn't get to it. Mike Shannon is going to stop at third on that play. He did not score. Had to wait for the ball. Now here's Gibson. Gibson's going to bat with one out. Runners at first and third. Here's Gibson. Swing. Fly ball to the right. That's all he needed to do to get that run in. Kaline's going to get it. He fires it back in as fast as he can. But Shannon is going to end up scoring. Sacrifice fly for Bob Gibson. He helps his own cause, and the Cardinals have now tied it 2 apiece with 2 outs in the 5th, and Maxville still down at first. And here's Lou Brock. Brock 1 for 2 on the day. Brock swings, and that ball's going to get through in between McAuliffe and Cash. Kaline up with it. He throws the ball back in towards third. Maxville is safe at third. And so Lou Brock is on first. McLean in a little bit of trouble here. Here's Flood with 2 outs as the Cardinals try to put another run on the board. Flood with it. And that is a pop-up to the first baseman, Norm Cash, just a few steps in front of first. They leave 2 on, but the Cardinals tie it 2-2-2. So we move to the bottom of the 5th with Willie Horton up. He has a homer on the day, 1 for 1. Here's Horton. Wine in the pitch. That ball gets through under the glove of Maxville, and Horton has his second hit of the day for Detroit. So here's Northrop. He's 1 for 2 also. Ground ball. Javier over to Maxville. No throw. And we have a fielder's choice ground ball. So Jim Northrop is now at first with 1 out. Matthews 2 for 2 with a homer today. See if he can capitalize. That's a fly ball out to Flood, but Flood drifts over to his right and picks it up and makes it 2 outs. And here's Freehan. 2 walks in the game for Freehan. That's another fly ball to Flood. Flood backs up, moves to his right, and that's 2 putouts in a row for Kurt Flood. Nothing doing for Detroit in the bottom of the 5th. We have a great game here, 2 apiece. So now Danny McLean is back on the mound for Detroit. He's thrown 48 pitches in this game, and he's got to face Roger Maris. Maris is 1 for 2. Wine and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Danny McLean was his 3rd strikeout of the day for Orlando Cepeda, who is hitless in 2 trips up to the plate. Here's Cepeda. Wine and the pitch by McLean. That ball is going to get through right by the shortstop Stanley. So Cepeda is now on first with his first hit of the day. And here's McCarver, 0 for 2, looking for that first hit. That ball gets hit down to McAuliffe. Over to Stanley, over to Cash. 4-6-3, double play. And that retires the side for the Cardinals. As we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, 2-2. Here's Danny McLean. Gibson now has thrown 103 pitches. We'll see how long he can last. He strikes out. McLean 1 out. Here's McAuliffe. In real life, he probably would have been pulled out a long time ago. McAuliffe with a gapper into left field. And that's going to be a double, and that's going to be it for Gibson. So I am managing tonight. The AI is not. And so I will control everything myself. So the Cardinals will go to the bullpen, and we're going to bring Wayne Granger in for Gibson. In the bottom of the 6th inning, here's Wayne Granger. Stanley up with a runner at second, 1 man out. Stanley 0 for 2 today. Here's Granger. Ground ball down to Cepeda. Over to Granger, covering at the bag. That's 2 outs, and McAuliffe is now at third. Here's Kaline. Al's 1 for 3 in this game. Runner at third, Granger. And he retires Kaline on a call 3rd strike. So Granger comes in and gets out of trouble for the Cardinals. And that's going to bring Mike Shannon up to face Denny McLain. Shannon 1 for 2 with a run scored. Here's Shannon, winding the pitch, ground ball down to Matthews. Matthews feels it, up with it, throws it over to Cash, one man out. Here's Julian Javier, the second baseman. Javier 0 for 2. Back down to Matthews. Matthews up with it, fields it cleanly. 2 men out. And here's Al Maxfield. Maxfield, dive by Stanley, over to Cash, and Maxfield beats that ground ball out. And so we have a runner at second, and that's going to be all for Wayne Granger, who came in to put the fire out for the Cards. So Dick Schofield, the veteran, is going to come in and pitch hit for Wayne Granger. Schofield, a left-handed batter. Runner at first, 2 men out. Schofield, liner straight to McAuliffe, and that retires the side. So now we need to bring in a reliever. It's going to be Larry Jaster. So Larry Jaster is going to come in for the Cardinals and pitch in the bottom of the 7th inning with Norm Cash up, to be followed by Willie Horton and Jim Northrup. For those of you just joining, this is a 1968 World Series replay that I started some time back. This is my actual first live broadcast of a replay on my YouTube channel. So for anyone out there, welcome. I apologize that I don't have all of the technology worked out to the point that I can locate all of the information with my chat and so forth. I am able to see that now, and it doesn't look like I have any viewers at present. But you know what? That's okay, because this game will be on for a replay at a later time. So I hope you'll be able to watch it. So here's Norm Cash. Cash is 0 for 2 in the game. Larry Jaster on the mound for St. Louis. Here is the wind by Jaster, the left-hander, to the left-handed hitting Norm Cash, and he strikes him out, 1 man out. Here's Horton, 2 for 2 on the day with a homer. Wind in the pitch. Fly ball. Flood. Under it. Makes the catch. Here's Northrup. 2 outs in the inning now. Northrup 1 for 3. Left-hander fires, and he gets his second strikeout. So Larry Jaster comes in and gets 2 strikeouts for St. Louis, and we go to the 8th, tied 2 runs apiece. Here's Lou Brock. Brock is 2 for 3 in this game. McLain's still in there, and that's a slow ground ball to Stanley, and he boots it. So Mickey Stanley with an error, and Lou Brock is now at first and represents the go-ahead run for St. Louis. So here's Curt Flood. Flood lines to McAuliffe, and Brock gets back to first. 1 man out. Here's Roger Maris. Maris 1 for 3. Brock at first. Brock going. And he's going to be tagged out. Freehand with a great throw. Out 2-6. And that makes it 2 outs. And so nobody on for Maris. The wind and the pitch. And that ball is going to get down in front of Al Kaline. Just in front of him with a base hit. And Roger Maris has his second hit of the day for the Cardinals. So here's Cepeda with a chance with 2 outs. With Maris down at first. Cepeda 1 for 3. And he's walked. McLain now has thrown 87 pitches. Here's McCarver, due and hitless. Here's McLain with 2 outs. To McCarver. Wind and the pitch. Fly ball right. Kaline just drifts a couple of sets over to his right and retires the side. And the Cardinals go down, leaving 2 men on. And we move to the bottom of the 8th inning with Matthews, freehand, and a pinch hitter for Denny McLain. in all likelihood. Here's Matthews, 2 for 3 on the day with a homer. 2-2, and he walks him. So let's see if I want to leave Matthews in the game. He does not have very much speed down at first, so we are going to run for him. And I believe what I'm going to do, Don Wirt is going to run for Eddie Matthews and come in at third. Not much more speed in Wirt, but it saves a substitution later on, wasting a player. So Don Wirt is now going to run for Eddie Matthews at third. And here's Bill Freehan up in the 8 hole. Freehan is 0 for 1 in this game with 2 walks. Jaster has now thrown 20 pitches. Here's Freehan. Wind and the pitch by Jaster. Ground ball, Maxville. He makes the throw over to second and retires Wirt. And that's going to be 1 out. So McLean's going to be lifted. Gates Brown is going to come in and bat for Denny McLean in the bottom of the 8th inning. Here's Brown. Brown does not have an at bat, it appears, in this series. I'll double check that. I'm not sure. Anyway, he's batting. The statistics show he does have 2 at bats. I beg your pardon, but he's 0 for 2. Okay, Gates Brown, reserve outfielder, left-handed batter with some power. He is now going to face Larry Jaster with 1 out and Freehan down at first. So here's Jaster. And Gates Brown goes down with Jaster with a strikeout, his third of the game. 2 outs, and now here's McCulloch with Freehan still down at first. Winding the pitch. Here's Maxville up with it. He flips it over to second to Julian Javier, and that retires the side. We go to the 9th. And just for information's sake, when this game was actually played back in 1968, the Cardinals pummeled Detroit that day with 13 hits and beat Detroit 10-1. And of course, as all you baseball buffs know, that put Detroit up St. Louis up 3-1. And, of course, the Tigers made that great comeback to win the World Series. So, we've got Joe Sparma is going to come in and pitch for Detroit. And Don Wirt will stay in the game and play third. So, Sparma is now on the mound to face Mike Shannon, Julian Javier, and Dow Maxville in the top of the 9th inning, 2-2-2. Sparma looks in with a 2-ball, 2-strike count to Mike Shannon, and that ball's hit to right, but on a line, K-line up with it, 1 man out. Here's Julian Javier, 0 for 3 on the day, overdue. Javier swings and misses as Sparma gets him on a strikeout, 2 outs. Maxville has had a good day at the plate. 2 out of 3, and a good day in the fielding as well. Maxville up with it, pitch. Ground ball down to Stanley. Stanley up with it, over to Cash. 3 up, 3 down. So Joe Sparma sets the Cardinals down. So Larry Jaster is now going to come back into the game. He has thrown 31 pitches. We'll see how that works out. He is going to stay in for now. Here's Stanley, 0 for 3. Jaster winds and pitches. Stanley out to Lou Brock. 1 man out. Here's K-line. Al's 1 for 4. Right-handed batter. Jaster. Oh, down under the glove of Julian Javier, and Al K-line is going to have his second hit of the day. He's 2 for 5 on the day. Here's Norm Cash. And I am going to take Jaster out, and we are going to do a double switch here. So Jaster is due to bat in the 9th inning. So we're going to have to be creative here just a little bit. and see who we have available at shortstop, because Dick Schofield has already played in this game and is not available to come in. So we're going to bring in a reliever, and that's going to be Joe Horner. And let's see what we want to do. Let's bring in Joe Horner and have him bat 7th. And Phil Gagliano is going to come in and bat 9th, replacing Julian Javier, and is going to play second base. So Horner is now in the game to face Norm Cash with 1 out and Al Kaline on first. 2-2, bottom of 9. Here's Cash from the left side of the plate to face the left-hander Joe Horner. Wind and the pitch, Cash. Ground ball, Javier, over to Maxville, over to Cepeda. 4-6-3 double play. Horner comes in and gets the double play, and here's Gagliano up now for the Cardinals to face Joe Sparma, and we go to the 10th inning, 2-2-2. So Horner comes in, retires on the double play, gets the ground ball double play, and erases a threat by Detroit. So we're in the top of the 10th inning with Phil Gagliano to lead off. He is 1 for 1 in this World Series. Sparma on the mound to face Phil Gagliano. Pitch. That ball is going to dink into right field, right down the right field line as Kaline throws it back in. An opposite field center single for Phil Gagliano. He's got his second hit in this World Series. So now here's Lou Brock. Let's see what the computer decides to do here. Brock, in between Stanley and Wirt, base hit. So the Cardinals have 2 men on. Sparman's in trouble. Curt Flood up. 2 on, nobody out. Flood, ground ball McAuliffe. He goes to second base to Mickey Stanley to get the middle runner, but Flood reaches on first base on the fielder's choice, so it's first and third now for Roger Maris. Maris with a good day at the plate. 2 out of 4 with an RBI. Cardinals 2, Tigers 2, top of the 10th. Here's Maris. Pitch. Flood with no throw down to second. Takes second base. That's indifference there, but the game gave him credit for a stolen base. So now we have Gagliano on third, Curt Flood at second, Sparma on the mound, and they pitch to him, and Roger Maris is going to line it to right. Kaline with a quick throw back in. And nobody advances. So now it's up to Orlando Cepeda. That ball was hit quite hard to Kaline. He was able to get it back in. They held the runner up at third. So here's Cepeda. Sparma pitches. Cepeda, base hit under the glove of Norm Cash. He's going to drive in 2 runs. Cepeda's going to move down to second. And Orlando Cepeda with a 2-run double with 2 outs in the top of the 10th inning. And the Cardinals go up 4-2. Cepeda hit an sharp ground ball down the first base line, and Cash couldn't get to it. So now here's Tim McCarver with a runner at second and 2 outs. And that ball is going to be hit straight out to center field, and Northrop has it for the 3rd out, but the Cardinals go up 4-2. So now we have Joe Horner on the mound with Willie Horton, Jim Northrop, and Don Wirt to bat. So here's Horton, 2 for 3 with a run scored and an RBI. Willie Horton up, pitch, ground ball, down to Maxville, and Maxville makes an error. That is the first error of the day by St. Louis. So here's Jim Northrop, 1 for 4. Wine in the pitch. Nubber back to the mound. Horner up with it. Down to second base. And that's the first out of the inning. So Horner gets the lead man. And here's Wirt, his first plate appearance today. He came in and pitch ran for Eddie Matthews last inning. So here's Don Wirt. Wirt has yet to get a base hit in this World Series. He is 0 for 10, but does have an RBI. So let's see if he can keep the inning alive here. Don Wirt, fly ball right, but Maris is under it, makes the play. 2 outs, so the last chance is for Bill Freehan, 0 for 2 in this game. Jim Northrup down at first. Joe Horner on the mound for the St. Louis Cardinals. So here's Bill Freehan with 2 outs in the bottom of the 10th. Winding the pitch, swing and a miss. Joe Horner strikes out Bill Freehan. And that's your ball game in Game 4 of the 1968 replay. And the Cardinals now lead the series 3-1 as they win 4-2. Here are your totals. For St. Louis, 4 runs on 11 hits, 1 error, and they left 7 men on base. Joe Horner is going to get the win in relief for St. Louis. For Detroit, 2 runs on 8 hits, 1 error, 12 runners left on base for Detroit, and Joe Sparma in relief takes the loss. There were only two home runs hit in this game. Eddie Matthews with a home run off of Bob Gibson in the second inning with nobody on, and Willie Horton in the third inning off of Bob Gibson with nobody on. So, your player of the game has been awarded to Denny McLain, although I have to disagree. I'm going to say that Orlando Cepeda should get the player of the game award for this effort today. So, that's your ball game from Tiger Stadium in Detroit. St. Louis 4, Detroit 2, and we move on to Game 5 at a later date. So, thanks for all of you who get a chance to view this video this evening. I don't believe I had anybody come in live, but this was scheduled at pretty much the last minute. So I hope that everyone will get a chance to watch the replay. So until next time, goodbye for now, and we'll see you soon.